Hey guys, welcome to week 3 of Close Conflicts, and we're in page 27 to 35 of the book, so go ahead and take a second right now and just read through it, familiar yourself with it. So I want to touch on this idea of not interrupting. So many people grew up in an environment where they had to jostle for position, they had to yell to make themselves heard. And I just love the fact that the Father doesn't do that with us. He doesn't make us yell to be heard. He uses the principle of promotion, which is we take a humble seat and He promotes us to a better seat. And so the idea of approaching our conversation in this way of the most important thing is not for me to be heard. The most important thing is to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. So I'm going to listen, right? And then I'm going to give my input when the time is right. So just discuss this idea of the principle of promotion. So I want to touch real quick on the idea of monologuing and versus a give and take dialogue. It's so important as we are coming into conflict that we don't just come out monologuing with 10 different issues that we're piling on somebody. What we want to do is it needs to be a give and take dialogue to where I'm listening and I'm hearing and we're give and take and I'm not going to bring up 15 things that the person did wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, this is the issue. Let's talk through this, and we're not going to move on until that's solved. So discuss the difference between somebody monologuing with a whole bunch of issues versus saying, this is the one thing I want to talk about, and handing it over to the other person to be able to process. So I want to bring up one of the most damaging things that can happen in relationship, in conflict, is excuses. Because excuses are flat out lies. And this is something that we want to be so intentional about, is we're not here to try to get off the hook. We're not here to try to get out from under a consequence. What we're here to do is figure out how we can do things better. And so if I stay in this place of excuses, I lock myself up from ever being able to change. So I want to just discuss this idea. What is an excuse? How is it a lie? And how is it the same as imprisoning myself in the inability to change? One of the big things that conflict can devolve into is arguing. And this idea of arguing is just trying to knock each other off of their position in order to establish dominance. And this is the last thing we want to do when we're in conflict. What we want to do is be in a place where we're listening, we're hearing, and we're staying on topic. So I just want to take this idea of arguing and how the Lord says, come, let us reason together. So just take a moment and just discuss, what is the Lord talking about? Why would the Lord say, let us reason together? He has all the answers. Why does He say, let us reason together? The next thing I want to talk about is staying on topic. It's so common that when a topic is brought up, someone just begins to deflect or just bring up other subjects. Well, you did this, or well, it's not me, it's this person. And it's so key to come into this and say, well, that might be true, but let's bring this back to the main issue. And so being able to keep on topic, keep the main issue so that it can be brought to a resolution. The last one we want to talk about is speaking kindly. And something we talked about in the book was there was a counselor who had said most of the issues can be solved if people just are kind to each other. Whether it's relationship, friendship, any conflict, if you're just kind, so much is solved. So I want to discuss the difference between airing of the grievances and saying, I have all these issues with you, versus, hey, I have something I need to bring up and talk about. just discuss the difference between those.